everybody. Welcome to Let's Be Blunt, a podcast about living and loving everything Blount County, Tennessee.
We're your hosts, Brett Hepner and Eric Rice, the property dads at LeConte Realty, and we're excited to talk more about this great place we call home.
Brett, it's a new year and a new us. We're ringing in 2026 in spectacular fashion with video podcast. And
Yay.
these two faces for radio are going to need a really, really great guest. And I think we found her.
That's right, Eric. It's a little like starting over, but with guests like this one, you can never go wrong.
Right.
So who is our first guest of 2026? How does she view her role in the community? And what do lions and bears have to do with any of this? Well, let's find out.
This is so great.
Right. There we go. Okay, so our very first episode of Let's Be Blunt into 2026, and our very first video episode, and we get
I'm so honored
of hosting Joy Carver in our first ever video. So thank you for joining us. This is so exciting.
I'm so excited. I've never done anything like this, so
neither have we.
Buckle up. Here we go.
Video-wise, we definitely have not either. So,
yeah,
maybe the face is made for radio. People will be
the face is definitely made for radio, but that's why we have guests to join us.
Exactly right. Focus on the guests.
That's right. Nobody's looking at us. Everybody's no pressure, but everybody's looking at you, Joy. So.
That's right.
Oh no, I hope not.
It's all right, Joy, but we're going to start with a similar format and I know this is going to be lengthy. We want to know specifically about Joy Carver and her connections to Blount County.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just go. Ready? I just go.
Right? We're ready when you are.
It's because the show is called Let's Be Blunt. So we want to know, what's your connection? What's your,
I'm excited. I'm excited to share this story. So my mom is a Blount County native. My dad is a Knox County native.
Oh.
My mom's dad had a dairy farm. She was a Delosier, and the Delosiers all had dairy farms down Sevierville Road.
Yeah, I know where that is.
And they are still kind of, cousin after cousin. And so they were all right there. But so there were, so that generation, that would have been my granddad. And then his dad came over from Sevier County. And so he settled from Sevier County. So there's a lot of Delosiers also in
Europe or something.
Right.
On the Mayflower.
No, at some point, I think it's, yes, I should know this, but there were some brothers from France, and I think half of them settled in the Sevier County side and the other half. And so
very cool.
For anybody that drives up and down Sevierville Road, the sign that's been there for 20 or 30 years proclaiming that Pellissippi Parkway is coming through, that's the Delosier farm. So I have distinct memories as a little girl of looking out on the porch and somebody going, there's going to be a road there. And I'm almost 50. And so to know that was talked about, and I don't want to say promised, but so to think that, I don't know, that's not progress, I guess, if we've talked about something for over 40 years and it hasn't happened. But so to think that it was a need that long ago. But the brothers, there were 4 brothers that farmed, and all kind of up and down. And they decided that they were not going to speak about the road because they could tell that they were not in agreement. Some were for it, some were, because they said progress has to happen. We can't move forward in a town if we don't. And then some said, this is our family land. How could we? And so they decided to keep the peace and just never speak about the road. So if that tells you anything about the way we were raised, is like, if it's going to ruffle feathers, you just don't speak about it. So that carries over into a lot of, but my mom was a Delosier.
Not everybody follows that rule.
No, that's true.
Well, I think my family might wonder about me too. Like, can you just, know, and then my mom, and my dad is a Knox County native, and she pulled him in. I mean, he was West Knox or West High School, Knoxville. He went to Sewanee. He went into the Air Force out of Sewanee, went flight school and got to see the world and then came back and settled. And then he had a career at the Air National Guard base, was my dad's career. And so I was raised Blount County. Here I am, and honestly, I was that girl that kind of reminds me maybe of the season of life where your children are, and I hope they get a little of this. I was leaving Blount County and not coming back, so
Yeah.
I did that out of high school, and I was like, y'all, it's been
Yep.
great, and then here I am, because where else would you want to raise your family? So when you start then using your adult brain and going, where am I going to now plant? Who am I? Guess where I am, right back where I started. So
We talk about that all the time about how, we love it when people go out and do their thing and get their world experience and then bring it back. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping anyway. Like with my kids, come on back, and share it with us. Cause, yeah, I've done that personally. I know, Brett's lived in different places and, we've been out and then have brought our world, I think, to Blount County. That's what makes us rich, right?
I was going to use that same word. It only enriches us all.
Yeah.
So did you go to school somewhere else?
I did. I graduated Maryville High School and then went to Baylor University in Waco, Texas,
Where your son is?
which that blew me away.
That's why.
Our son decided on Baylor. That was not on my realm of. It's been wonderful, but that was really a sweet surprise.
Yeah.
And then I came back to UT for grad school.
Oh,
And
is
then
that
that's
where
why,
you met Will?
that's where I met Will.
That's okay.
Why did you go to Baylor originally?
I think half of it was just that wild and free spirit was like, I got to go figure out who am I? Who am I with this, my mom's family that was pretty deeply rooted, and Maryville felt smaller. And my dad being at the air base, it felt like everybody kind of knew his name at least. And I thought, well, who is Joy? Who? And I had to scratch that itch. And I'm glad I did. I needed to know that I could do it on my own. And so I had a friend in high school whose cousin was at Baylor. And one spring break, we went out and visited Amy. And so it was the only school I applied to. I was just dumb. I was like, okay, I'll go to Baylor. I mean, that was about the extent of thought I put into it. So, and it was the best thing for me, but I was definitely watching our son go through the college process now. It's like, wow, this is what it should have been. Worked out.
Yeah, it's very different. I was the same way. Like, where are you going? Well, I'm either going to Kansas or Kansas State.
Okay.
So, just where did my girlfriend go? I'll go there.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have a deciding factor for some reason. So
Right,
that makes
exactly.
sense.
Now it's very like our kids visited lots of colleges and universities and different things. And I remember we were at Auburn, we were at Georgia with Emma, and she was the same way. She did not want to be close to home, and she ended up at UT. And of course now she's in New York. I mean, that's a whole different story. But yeah, I mean, the process is different now, I think. So.
Oh, wow. I could have sworn that Emma was going to Georgia. I don't know why. I mean, I just thought that's where she would wind up. And then it was a great fit for her at UT, obviously. But I remember being a little surprised at the final decision with her, too.
Yeah. Well, I think having people that she knew, like Caroline, and but I mean, she toured the university and it was like it. Yeah, no, this felt good. So anyway, we're digressing, but
No, I'm ready for you two to do a parent podcast. All of us would tune in because you are your kids. Oh my gosh. I just lockstep. I want to be like, I want all the Rices and all the Hepners. I want to be just like them. So I'm ready for y'all to do a parenting podcast.
Yeah. Well, luckily we have wives that, because
it's a team.
Yeah,
I believe it. It's a team.
Yeah,
it is.
Because there is no manual for it. That's for sure.
Oh.
No. Yeah, and it's not for the faint of heart. So as you came back to Blount County, and what did you do from, I guess, grad school until Dandelions, which we'll get to? Was there a gap there? I'm missing maybe a little time?
A really sweet season of my life. So my major was weird. I always had a job. My very first job, and even in high school, was at Profits Department Store, which was founded in Blount County, but at the time had 80 or 90 chain or across the Southeast.
Yeah.
And it was a thing. It was kind of
Yeah.
um it was nicer. It felt fun, and you didn't have access to things online, so you shopped department stores. And so
hmm
that was my little summer job all through high school and college. I'd come bounce back in and out and work Profits Department Store, and then it was eventually bought by Saks. I mean, that was a neat thing. And then at Waco, during college, I worked at the Gap, and I loved retail. It was the weirdest, like, I like this visual merchandising. I love the customer interaction. I love it's called retail science. I mean, I do see it. I loved it. And I thought, I can't go home and tell my parents I'm going to go and work at the Gap the rest of my life. Like, that just wouldn't, that would not have gone over probably. So I was like, I guess if I'm creative and I like people, I guess I'm supposed to be a teacher. I didn't know there wasn't entrepreneurship. There wasn't really like and I really didn't ask anybody. I was like, I guess I'm supposed to be a teacher. So my degree is education, and then I did student teaching and felt like a little suffocated by a classroom. I'll be honest. Like, I was like, wait, I can't leave. I can't, like, wait, are you giving me a curriculum? Wait, what? I don't know. I just this
When do we get to
creative
go out for
mind.
lunch?
What's that?
When do we get to go out for lunch?
I know, right? Yeah, no, obviously none of that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll go to grad school and I'll do counseling. That's what I'll do. I'll be a school counselor, because then I can kind of, be me. And it's so my very first job out of UT grad school was with a brand new nonprofit that was starting at the time. Bill Haslam was chair of the board. This was long before he had run for anything. He was still, and it was called Project Grad Knoxville. And I was their first hire outside of AmeriCorps volunteers to be based in Fulton High School.
Okay.
And so I worked, it was a perfect fit for me, because my student teaching that I had in Waco at Baylor, Waco's a very poor town. It's a scruffy little city. And so I was in a very poor school. And so I kind of got this, like we would call it Title I. Is that what it's called? Like a Title I school?
Yeah.
But it was a school that needed a lot of resources. And so all of a sudden, Project Grad was going into schools systemically from Fulton and Austin East High School down to the feeders. Schools that did not have a track record of getting kids into college. And so the goal was how can we bridge this gap? How are we going to expose them to college? How are we going to get them just on a campus and applied and FAFSA? I mean, things that we all take for granted, that's a foreign language to anybody who hasn't been in that realm before. And so it was the greatest season of like serving and just stretching for sure. I loved that. It was a great way to not be a teacher, but be in schools and get to be creative and have a marketing sense, because it was building it. It was not me, though. There was somebody in all the schools where they were. I was just based at Fulton, but I got to build that, and I got to meet the people and be in the homes and walk the streets. It was an awesome season. And so I did that.
That's pretty incredible. Is Project Grad still around?
So I think it is actually. It was supposed to be a 12-year commitment that they when founded, and that would have been over 25 years ago. And I know they did a 20th anniversary. So I guess they have perpetually funded it. There have been some very generous families, and the board was so strong. And so names that I'm sure everybody else knew, but I was so young. I was like, oh, they're so nice. Who are those people? And they just were so intentional about making opportunities available to all students. It was a really neat program.
And so when did you start Dandelions? Was that your next venture?
So we moved to Blount County. Then we were still living in Knox County for a good part of that. And then we moved into Blount County, and I was kind of commuting, and so was Will. My husband's office is in downtown Knoxville, and so we both were kind of doing this commute thing, and I just dabbled on the side with stationery, doing invitations, and that was you couldn't do a Evite. There wasn't that. So every single baby that was born or Christmas card, you had them printed. Your graduation announcement. If you didn't buy the standard one through the school, you came to somebody like me, and I was like, "Let's do this, and let's make you a cute one." And so I was just doing that from home, like for fun. Just again, that creative side. And then we had our first child, and I decided I was going to stay home and do that. It's just kind of like a little side hustle, and it was nuts. People are in the house all the time doing weddings and I don't all the time. And so Will Carver, my sweet husband, looked at me because this has to get out of our house. And then Dandelions. So there we go.
Yeah.
So what year was that?
Okay, so I started the little in-home stationery business. I remember I was pregnant but didn't tell anybody. So that would have been, Drew was born in 06. So that would have been 2006. Dandelions wound up launching in June of 07. So it was kind of about a little over a year that we had it in the home. And which was actually not a terrible way to not dive in blindly, to
Right.
test the waters a little bit.
Yeah. But then you moved to the building that you're in. And if people don't know where you are, tell us about the building that you're in, because I think that is
It
it's such a
it is part of our identity. It is our.
really is. Yeah. Tell us about it.
Okay, so newborn Drew, our firstborn, who is the one now at Baylor, but there was a restaurant in downtown Maryville. Ruby Tuesday's corporate was in downtown Maryville and thriving, and they had a test kitchen, a test restaurant called Ruby Teas.
Yeah.
And Ruby Teas was kind of just funky, and I loved it. So we were there, and I loved that place. It was great. So I remember he was just so little, and I thought, I'm going to walk him outside. And next door, that had always been in my adult life, the Red Cross in downtown Maryville. And I thought, wait, did the Red Cross move? It was just one of those, I'm walking the like fussy baby down the street, and I go and plaster my face up on the window. I thought, I think they moved. And that was about the time the conversation was happening. Like, these people in our home at all hours have to go. And so I was like, it was just a little bit of like a serendipitous moment of, wait, and nobody else really was investing in downtown. And there was definitely no retail. There were Ruby T's restaurant, and then Sullivan's restaurant was up on Broadway. Right. But Sullivan's was a little bit of a standalone. They were risky up there all by themselves on Broadway. And
there's not a lot going on downtown at that time.
Yeah, it's different now. So it was I didn't know the Red Cross part of it, because originally, what's the address of the building, Joy?
300 East Church Avenue. And so we're the third tenant. It was the original library. And to look on the,
obviously,
was,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so even the building itself still says Harper Memorial Library on it. And so it has that, I mean, beautiful facade and the big rotunda front porch. And so it faces church. And then not long after we moved in and started kind of, we got to pull up the carpet that the Red Cross had glued down, and those floors were original. And
what a great find.
Oh my gosh. So that was amazing. So, and the molding in that building is just, it's awesome. They don't build them like they used to, but
no, they don't. But
that was kind of risky. We went into downtown with not a lot of neighbors, but
yeah. And you get Vienna moved in behind you, and then.
So that was it was empty for a while, and then Habitat for Humanity had their restore there for maybe about 10 years. So it was a thrift store, which I didn't hate. It was kind of fun and funky, and I could find some, if we were doing a summer visual display and I needed a grill, I'd be like, be right back. And I'd head over next door to just buy a little table grill and come, so I kind of liked having them there, but it was definitely then an upgrade when Vienna Coffee moved in, and that's such great synergy. I mean, it's just amazing neighbor.
So that's '07 when you moved into the library building.
Yes,
Is that right? So
'07.
walk us through the process. I want to get to, I think COVID, if I remember this correctly, kind of changed your business plan a little bit, but kind of how was the beginning and how have you evolved to what you're doing now?
Well, thanks for asking. It's been sweet because we started as a gift and stationery store. I mean, paper was what I was doing out of the home, and that was a niche. It was nobody else was doing it, I guess. And so, but you have to evolve, as we all know. And so as invitation orders started going a little bit more design your own online, good thing we were a gift and stationery store. So then that inventory balance really could shift more toward the gift and less in the paper. So that's been, to me, from a foundational standpoint, the biggest evolution. If you can think about opening in '07, then as people who are ingrained in real estate, you can imagine what '08 and '09 looked like.
Mm, okay.
Nobody needed candles and gift. And we had some tabletop, almost like, think wedding gifty registry stuff. And so that price point was so unnecessary in a time of an '08, '09 recession. So we then got a little bit more fun gifty, lower price point, and that was a next evolution that it went through. And then we've watched, of course, COVID, and we have to be nimble and go, okay, what are we doing to to be customer facing if your doors are closed?
Mhm.
And so then we launched an e-commerce site at that point in the dark of night, and everybody's feeling fearful, whatever room of work you're in. Of course, that was just such an unknown. And I think it all pushed us in neat ways to be better and to refine skills that we gotten lazy. And so we had never launched e-commerce because we didn't have to. We were our hometown gift shop. That was important. And so e-commerce to me felt impersonal. Uh it didn't feel natural. But if I'm going to continue in my business, guess what I had to do? I had to go to an uncomfortable place. So I would say that was kind of three evolutions of major that I can pinpoint, total pivots that have been fun to watch the growth and watch the change.
And
It's been really cool to watch your go ahead, Brett.
I was gonna say, so the biggest evolution, I think, I'm just from what I've heard, is the e-commerce, right? I mean, how did that affect your business?
So initially, it was the lifeline. It was, we had to have a way that people could, without picking up a call and going, "Hey, can you put together a $20 gift for me?" Or pe- we e-commerce is in our life to stay forever. We were just being resistant because we wanted to feel a little bit more authentic and have a personal. But so I had to throw that out and go, okay, well, this is going to have to be authentic. And how are we going to do that? And so we're actually trying to refine that again. We kind of jumped in quickly and did what we needed to do. But I'm not afraid to say that still 95 more percent is still in-person business. So e-commerce is there. It changed our platform, our backside more than it probably has changed anything that the consumer sees. We are still the hometown gift shop.
Yeah.
We still want to ask about your kids and know about your family. And so the e-commerce part is really low-hanging fruit for me. And so when I talk business, it's a growth opportunity. And so I'll have to see what this next year holds. But that's a goal for me, is to grow that because it's there. The model or the infrastructure is there. We've now built that in. It's now just a matter of I guess launching it more and being more intentional with it.
Yeah, and you think about, can you imagine life without Amazon right now? Or, I mean,
Oh,
like everything that we do seems to be
every
online. That's where we do our shopping.
when was the last time you walked the aisle at Target and didn't do a
Not me.
My wife has her Christmas shopping done. If it's not done the weekend of Thanksgiving, she feels like she's behind and she never leaves the house.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right
Uh-huh.
there. So,
And
but
But
and
it was
that
nice
is
to walk through your store. I mean, because it's beautiful and that there's so many things, and I can almost I can't really imagine shopping your entire store online because there's you walk in and you're sort of hit with inspiration as you kind of walk
Aw.
through.
Well, thanks. I want it to be something that is unique without being quirky. You know, you got to find this, like, you don't want to be you have to have some brands that everybody wants. You have to have the things that are desirable in the industry or in gift industry, but you also want to have things that make it different than everywhere else. So what is that draw and where's that line? And so curating a collection that is both unique but also have enough of those brands sprinkled in that are your core line that are
Mm,
also going to pull people. But I hope that more than the merch and the gift and the presentation, I think our hope is that it's the relationship. And so
yeah.
you can get that candle, honestly, you know, most of them. You can also do those online or the bracelets. And there are many things that we have that you can't get online, our pottery pieces or our, so, you know, we try to have both, but I really think that our repeat customers are because we trust each other and we like each other and we want to be in community together and we have a relationship. And so I think that hopefully it's a candle with a dose of love and community in there too.
Well, I surely have walk through every time I walk in. It's either I either end up walking through with you or with one of your ladies that work there. And well, what are you looking for? Let me help you put together. Oh, I've got this over here, and and like put together. I do a lot of closing gifts there, and so that's
We're very grateful for that.
yeah. It seems to be like that's how it works for me. But so I can imagine that people that shop there, they rely on you to show to have those ideas and to
Mm.
I think that is the relationship part of
Mhm.
your business.
and I,
And
I have
and
a
then
similar
that will
story
be
to that.
my struggle of how to translate that in a
Mhm.
better e-commerce
Mm,
platform. How do you and so that's the process that I'm going through right now. Like, how do I do that and
yeah.
translate that? So,
And I started to say, I mean, I have a similar story to that. And I think most of Blount County seems to have a similar story to having been in Dandelions, but there are maybe a listener or two out there that hasn't been in. How would you describe your store to somebody that hasn't been there before?
I hope there are people that haven't been in. I need to grow our we always want to grow our customer base, so I hope they haven't. So come to downtown Maryville, come to Church Avenue, and it's going to on the outside look like the old library. So the plaque on the inside says dedicated. I want to say in 1931. So I
Yeah,
want to
so
say
I've
the
seen that.
cornerstone was laid in 28 because I keep thinking, man, that 100 how do I celebrate a beautiful building's birthday? Because I want to.
Mhm.
Like, I'm already like,
Yeah,
we gotta have a birthday party for this
coming up.
building. It itself is beautiful. So we are very honored to be in the space that we're in, and that, again, was just a neat little happy story. But, if when you walk in, the floors are gonna squeak. They're the original floors. The lighting isn't perfect because it's not it wasn't designed for retail. I can't tell you the amount of people that say, "This would make a great house." And I think and it has a lot of windows. That's not typical in retail. You don't want natural light always because it can damage your merchandise, and so it is it's
Interesting.
not from a merchandising retail eyes. It's not perfect, but it is so perfect for us because if we're gonna truly be the thread and in the threads of our community, why would we be in a strip center or a mall? Like, would you not be in your downtown, in your historic downtown, and in a building that people walk in and go, "I came here as a child. I love this. I have fond memories in the library," and I mean, that's a dream. That's what we get to do every day. So you're walking into a space that is tender to a lot of people, and they come in and they have nostalgia, and so part of what we do is not sell the items. We just want to be a part of the community to where people can come in and just and kind of see history of Maryville come alive. So, of course, you're going to have hopefully great visual displays and things. But, so you're going to have big windows and squeaky floors and great molding. So the bones of the building alone are delightful. And then we have everything from jewelry to baby gifts to pottery to things that make great closing gifts because they're personal and they're different and they're not just more stuff. Because I can hear my dad saying, "It's just stuff," not about our store, but just in life. Don't get worked up. It's just stuff. And so I always think to myself, it's just stuff. But hopefully, it's with a lot of heart behind it. So
How did you? Okay, we're a sucker for a good name on this
love
podcast.
it.
How did you come up with the name Dandelions?
Okay, so my dad, who grew up in Knoxville, his family was from Huntsville, Alabama. His mom, so there were, by the way, I have a terrible hangnail, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. So there were 4 girls, and my grandmother Forster was my maiden name. So the oldest, then there was my grandmother, and then the babies were identical twins.
Okay.
So she said she was the irrelevant sister. My grandmother always was like, I wasn't the oldest that everybody knew, and I wasn't one of the twins. So, but of the 4 girls, she was the only one to ever have children. So these identical twin sisters, one married the architect of Samford University, and the other his husband was the first dentist in Huntsville, Alabama, and he was actually a Baylor grad. So those aunts were very influential and uncles in my dad's life because they didn't have children. And so, did you hear my dog? He is like needing so much attention. Anyway, those twins, because they never had children, they were precious. And one, there's a store, and I'm just going to go ahead and out myself. There's a store in Birmingham called the Dandelion, and it's more antiques, and I don't want to say antiques, but fine silver, tabletop. It would be exactly what you would think that an older lady from Birmingham whose husband's an architect in town and never had children, she didn't know where to shop, but we would get gifts from the Dandelion growing up. And it would be, I don't know, things that it was definitely not a Barbie or a My Little Pony. It was, something that you would get from a
candlestick
stuffier shop. And that was, and so anyway, we get the building first, and this is a roundabout way of saying, so then the National Library in New York, if y'all have ever seen it, has those huge lions out front. Huge, it's kind of iconic. National Library in New York City. So Emma will have to go sit on, and Emma is probably your Emma in New York, sit on those lions. So anyway, we get the building, we kind of strip it down, no name, the landscaping and overgrown. So we're like, oh gosh, we need to do something. And I think lions, we'll put 2 little lions out front. It's a library. So it evolved. I was like, it can't be the lion's den. That sounded like scary and dark.
Yeah.
And then it's the lion's den. But so it definitely, and it was like, wait. And so this memory of childhood and getting the not child-friendly gifts that were dear and tender from these aunts, but from the Dandelion, it was spelled a little different, but out of Birmingham. And last I looked, I think there's still a store. One time we got each other's shipment of something, just, but so I totally hijacked it straight from them as it was the library. It had lions out front. What can we do with lions? I had this memory. There you go. There you have it.
No good idea should go unstolen. I'm a full believer in that.
We spelled it a different way, so it's fine.
I love it.
It's a great story. It is. Going back to the question that I asked you about how would you describe it, I've been thinking, how would I describe Dandelions? And
ooh, I like this. Go for it.
I guess that it's basically everybody. You always hear people say, "What do you get for this person who has everything?" Or that, it's like, I can't think of a gift. It's like, here's my advice: walk into Dandelions. You have to walk around a little bit because there's stuff. I mean, there's so many different kinds of things you can get in a pretty small space, but yeah.
Hey, well, thanks.
That's a great.
I should have turned the question to you all. That's a great answer.
Well, I love your answer about being sort of in the thread of the community, and just switching gears a little bit away from Dandelions and back, to you personally. I think that's what I think about when I think of Joy Carver, is that you you are ingrained in the community. Ever since I've known you, you have, I don't think you've ever said no to my, experience, to anything I've asked of you, or anything it seems like any of the community members after. You are always serving people and places in the
Well, look
community.
at you two. I'm in good company with
No,
that. That
well,
is for sure.
tell us about why that's important to you, as just as an individual, just to
Okay.
serve your, and we could talk for probably an hour about the ways that you've served, but tell us why that's important to you in Blount County.
Okay. Well, first of all, I had two great parents that was a model that I
Yeah.
always saw, and it was, to me, it was just what you do. But as I've thought about that as an adult, or how I project, or how I spend my time in my home or outside of my home, and time is one of those things that I keep, locked in, and want to guard with all my heart, and make sure that my kids know that they're the number one. So what does get a priority outside of my home? And part of it is, I always think, like, to whom much is given, much is required. And by that, this town, our school system, wow, what a gift. The
Yeah.
safety we feel in this town, that we, can play anywhere we want, or let our kids go ride bikes on the greenway, and it's safe and it's
Mhm.
secure. Our friendships, or our faith community, like, to whom much is given, much is required. And so we just can't always be consumers of that. I think that we have to find a way to plug in and play a role. And if it's that you keep the nursery at your church, or if it's that you serve on a board, I mean, however that looks for you, I feel like we all have to be. I always think about, like, the seesaw. Like, I can't always just be, somebody else lifting me up. I've got to do it too, or the seesaw doesn't work. It's not fun to just one person doing all the work. So, but there are times in our life when you have to be the taker. Your plate is just so full, or your children are just so young, and you absolutely cannot be anything other than what you're giving at that moment to them. And so uh, I think that service looks so different to each person. And is it something that you're just the person in your community that helps everybody with their wood pile, or bake the sourdough and distribute it? Whatever that looks like, to whom much is given, much is required. And so if we're not doing something, I don't know, the seesaw doesn't work. Like, there's no balance there. And so, uh, luckily, I had parents that were naturally always out there doing things, and so I guess I thought that's what you do. But as I've reflected on it, it has to be different for each person, and different seasons of life dictate different things for us. So, um, but yeah, I guess it was just, I didn't ever think about how or when to do it. It was just, you just do it. So
You just do it. Yeah.
I
And
love the seesaw analogy. I've not heard before. That I love that.
I don't
And
know.
so
I just right this second made it up. It was just
I
like,
like it.
I was like,
that's good work
so
right
there.
there. You shouldn't have
And
said that. You should have said, that's something that I've developed over years and
Mhm.
years
Yeah.
of,
My
you know,
TED Talk, you can subscribe later. No, I'm
yeah,
just kidding.
that's right.
but
So
it's true. And it's also, it's not just for certain people. It may be for certain people at certain times, like you
Yeah.
said, in certain seasons, but it's not as if, you are the only person who just really likes to do hard things and help people and serve people. All of us have to do that at certain times, and all of us have to say yes, but not all of us do. And so I just, I appreciate the service that you have, been to our community, and how you help make Blount County what it is, and make it
Wow.
great.
Well, gosh, I am sitting among the kings of that. So
Yeah.
I have watched you all tear down many a race or dinner, fundraising dinner, or behind the scenes at Toys for Tots delivery. I mean, I've seen it all. You all are the kings of that. So good job to you.
well, thank you.
Thank
And so We've covered a lot of Joy Carver and Dandelions in 39 minutes.
Wow.
But what did we miss? Is there anything that you want to add?
I'm really ready to know when y'all are going to write your book, or don't do a blog. I don't read blogs, but do a podcast, or because your kids are our favorite. I mean, from wow, and all the seasons in life that they're in right now, are you all just like holding on for dear life, from marriages to engagements to I mean, wow, all the seasons right here.
I think I've been holding on for dear life as being a parent my entire life.
They started. That's right, exactly.
But you don't look it. Like, teach us all.
Like, at some point you think, oh, it's going to change, and you can just coast. And then then you're like, your kids have full-time jobs and are calling you about that, and then they get married and you're an in-law and you're an empty nester and you're all these things, and just trying to figure it out. So you just do the best.
I'm ready for it. Please start. Like, just let us all in on your secrets.
Oh, please. Like, you and Will need help.
That's right. Yeah. You got some darn good ones yourself.
Okay, so since y'all are now in video format, I think there has to be some time when you all show your Dancing with the Stars act.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
That's not.
We all need to see. So for all the viewers, these two did an amazing duo with their daughters. That was amazing.
I'm going to cut this whole part out so nobody even has to know it exists.
What was this? Was it a compilation of songs, or was it just one?
It was a compilation of old.
Do you think you could do it?
Hip hop.
No.
Do you think you could do it again right now?
We couldn't do it then.
Yes, you could. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I would say if we tried to do it again, it would be no worse. But I thought
it was great.
Any better. So
thanks.
It was
The judges felt differently.
Yeah, that's right.
How many years ago was that?
More than you would think. I think it's 7 or 8, 9, something like that.
I remember making signs and having them in the audience for your girls. I was so proud of y'all.
We watched that recently because of the Dancing with the Stars not too long ago, and they were so cute. The girls were so cute. And then we start dancing. I was like, ooh, they had to go through.
What I wish existed, Joy, is, I mean, our girls are awesome and they're sweet. And that's what everybody sees on the outside. When the two of us started dancing in practice, we got yelled at.
Oh, yeah. It was like they were coaches at Maryville High School football or something like that.
And we were not quality of Maryville High School football players.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, nobody in the audience saw that. They saw very amazing dads and daughters having the time of their life for a great cause.
I will say we enjoyed ourselves. That's true.
We did.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I am so honored. This is like when I got your text to do this, I thought, me? So this is such a treat. I'm so honored.
Well, couldn't have thought of a better first guest for 2026 and for video. So,
okay, well, we'll all learn a lot. I've never done anything like this, so
we will learn a lot. Apologies for what it's going to look like a year from now when we're like, well, we were terrible back then. So
no, it'll be great. It'll be great.
Joy will be great.
I just hope that the bottle of Weller and Buffalo Trace, I hope they make every episode. I love it.
Well, I'm not sure that they'll all be at this level.
No, I hope they aren't at that level. I'll be disappointed in you, Eric, if they aren't.
Well, Joy, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and much continued success at Dandelions and with your family. And we'll see you around the community.
I just love you guys. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Joy. Well, first video episode, I'm not really this old, I don't think.
No.
Full disclosure, I've been feeling bad for a couple of days, so that I'm sure that has an effect.
Yeah, well,
we'll find out in the next episode.
We are of the age where it's like I sneeze wrong and my back is killing me for 2 days. So, but we did choose a great guest to be on the podcast for our first video,
which is key. She's
definitely, and she is used to the camera. She's been on, I think it's WBIR or WB. I think it's WBIR.
Yes, I've seen her on that.
So she is no stranger to the camera. She does a great job. She's presents obviously very well. So
She's good for Let's Be Blunt.
nowhere to go but down. I mean,
hopefully that's not the case, but
yeah,
we'll just keep pushing them out there.
She was a great guest. She's also, I can't remember exactly the award winner, but it was announced in the newspaper, so we can share it. And I didn't. There were so many other things I wanted to ask her, but she did win a Starlight Award
Nice.
for Maryville City Schools, service to Maryville City Schools and the community. So I think Starlight Gala is in March, 1st of March. So she'll be presented with an award, which, I mean, it's open to, I can't remember if it was an alumni, if it was the alumni award or just the community member award, but she's just in the community, does so many things for so many different organizations, and just what a great guest, what a great person to know.
I agree completely. So
Yeah.
thanks again, Joy Carver. Go see Dandelions.
Go see Dandelions. Okay, Brett, what do you got? What do you got for the real estate news? What's going on in the market?
All right. Well, it's the end of the year, so we'll keep it brief. But one of the things I like to look at is year over year. Let's see how 25 compared with 24. So in 2025 in Blount County, there were 2,105 houses sold according to MLS, as opposed to last year when it was 1,930, basically 9% increase in sold homes. So that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good for a nice amount of growth. One thing I did notice is in the last quarter of 25, Blount County had 491 sales as compared to last year's 489. So really about even. So it kind of slowed down in the last quarter, but I mean, who knows what happens in the last quarter? It's always pretty slow.
Yeah.
I think 26 is shaping up to be a little better. So here's hoping.
Yeah, I think the NAR is feeling optimistic, and that we are in for some pretty steady growth, maybe more than that, say 9%, maybe closer to 15%, if the interest rates will stay down near that 6% mark. So if that happens, it sounds like we should see a pretty healthy growth in 2026. So.
I agree. And the rate email that I get every day kind of shows them settling in like 6.1, 6.2 right now. So I think as long as it settles down, everybody will kind of get used to that. But that email that I talked about comes from our good friend, Michelle McCauley. So
let's see what she has to say.
Why should we talk about it when we can listen to the experts? So here's Michelle.
Hello and Happy New Year. This is Michelle McCauley with Movement Mortgage, and I'm here with your mortgage update. We are starting out 2026 with rates moving in the right direction. Easier rates and more inventory may open the door for some first-time homebuyers. Builders and sellers are now offering incentives, and smart strategies like rate buy-downs and adjustable options are back on the table. If you've been waiting, this is your sign. Clarity beats timing. So let's build a plan that works now and puts you in a position to win. And don't forget to give me a call at 865-806-6113 for all of your mortgage needs.
All right. Well, that is a wrap on another episode.
Yes, it is. Join us in 2 weeks for our next one.
Who will our next guest be?
What topics will we cover?
What's changed in the real estate market?
Well, let's find out.
Thanks for listening to the Let's Be Blunt podcast. If you have questions or guest ideas, or if you'd like to sponsor a segment of our podcast, please send us an email at eric@lecontcompanies.com or brett@lecontcompanies.com.
We're Brett Hepner and Eric Rice. We call ourselves the Property Dads. As local realtors, we want you to know and love this community as much as we do. If you have questions about real estate, don't hesitate to call us at LeConte Realty, 865-268-4180. We'll be happy to help.